Hello and welcome. You are now looking at the Amazon Kindle store, where you can go to the Amazon.com website to find ebooks on just about any subject that's already available in both hardback and paperback. So you can find Kindle books available in nonfiction or business, or fiction and literature. Now these ebooks can be read by individuals using the Amazon Kindle e-reader or any mobile device application and/or personal computer. Now, Amazon Kindle allows individuals to earn royalties from selling their books on the platform, in some cases up to 70% of the sale price. And Amazon has made it easy for individuals to use their Kindle platform to publish their own books. In fact, using the Kindle platform to publish your book is free of charge. So in this course, we will walk through the technical process of getting set up on Amazon Kindle and getting your book published. Now what you'll want to do is to make sure that you have a manuscript that has been written and edited, and will then be able to walk through the Amazon Kindle direct publishing process. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you in the first video. Welcome back. Now if you look at this section of the Kindle, even though they are not strictly defined, the first three things would be what you would think: pornography, offensive content, and illegal and infringing content. Now, the most important area that we want to focus on is this paragraph that says public domain and non-exclusive content. Note, Amazon says that they will not accept content that's freely available on the web unless you are the copyright owner of the content. Also, it says that if you receive your content from a source that allows you to redistribute it and the content is freely available on the web, it will not be allowed in the Kindle store. This means then that private label rights content written, unchanged, in the same form that others have received it and are using it, is not allowed in the Kindle store. Public domain content, which is similar, is in the same category, and if it's undifferentiated from other public domain content on the Kindle store, it won't be accepted. So if you intend to use public domain content, you'll want to keep this in mind. And it basically means that if you're going to use either public domain or private label rights content, it needs to be turned into original content and into an original work. Now they've defined something else broadly as poor customer experience. So if you have ratings and you have customers that are complaining about your Kindle content, it can mean that the content will be disallowed. They say that they want you to see the guide to Kindle quality. In the guide to Kindle quality, there are two things that you'll want to take note of. One, content that's not significantly different from another book in the Kindle store. So again, you're going to want to make sure that anything that you post is not going to be the same as something that someone else has that's already there. Lastly, they're stating that they don't want content that's excessively reused, recycled, or repeated within or across books. Again, that's fairly specifically defined, and you want to make sure that your content does not fall into that category. So it's going to be a good idea to read the entire guidelines, but those are some things that you'll want to keep in mind. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, since you're likely to be doing this for some business purpose, you'll want to be aware of the policy on hyperlinks. And most of what is said here has to do with the table of contents being misleading, having links in the table of contents that lead someplace that it should not be, as well as anything prohibited. And basically, they've defined very broadly that they don't want links leading to a poor customer experience. Again, if you're going to use hyperlinks, you don't want your book to be one long hyperlink or one long promotion. For example, what you don't want to do is to have your bonus content or anything leading to all of your other books or other content at the front of the book. Again, this is a poor user experience. They want you to give the reader what they paid for and to be upfront about that. What you want to pay close attention to is going to be found in the disappointing content area. You don't want to have your Kindle book redirecting your readers to an external source so that they can get the full content. Whatever your Kindle book is, it should be the entire content and the point of them reading and purchasing the work. What they also don't want is content whose primary purpose is to solicit or advertise. So again, your content should be used to inform or entertain, but it should not be used just to advertise your business. So since you're likely to be doing this for some business purpose, you want to keep those things in mind and you don't want your readers saying those things about your content. So before you begin to plan out your content, it's going to be a good idea to read the Guide to Kindle Quality. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to kdp.amazon.com and you're going to set up an account. Now, if you already have an amazon.com account, you can use that account to sign up. You'll still be able to use your KDP account as your business, so you don't have to worry about having your personal and business mixed together if you sign up with Amazon. If you don't want to do that, you can go to this button if you don't have an Amazon account. Now again, if you don't want to use your Amazon credentials, you're going to click this button that says Create Your KDP Account. You're going to write in your details. And once you do that, you're going to click Create Your KDP Account. Now, even if you choose not to do so at this time, you're going to want to read through Kindle Terms of Service. And once you do that, you can then click Agree. And when you first go through the setup process, you're going to want to click this Update Now button. And basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be setting up so that you can be paid. So you're going to need to state your country or region. And once you do that, you're going to need to set up your banking information so that Amazon can send your payments. You'll also need to set up your taxing information again so that Amazon will be able to report to your taxing authorities when you earn income. And once you do that, you'll then click Save. Now, for the sake of recording this video and this course, we're going to leave this information incomplete, and we're going to continue throughout the rest of the process. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to determine what kind of Kindle book you're going to write. You can click this link inside of the dashboard in order to determine that. And once you're at this page, you're going to want to click this link that says Kindle Create. You're then going to scroll down underneath the video, and you're going to look in this section. And what you're going to notice here is that there are three basic book types. If you're going to have a traditional book, which is primarily text, you're going to want to put your document together using a doc file or docx file, which is the Microsoft Word designation. If you're going to have a comic or graphic novel of some kind, then what you're going to use is a PDF file. That might mean that you're going to use Microsoft Word, then you're going to turn it into a PDF document before you bring it to Kindle. And if you're going to have a book with complex formatting, with lots of images, or in this case, perhaps audio, video, and lots of hyperlinks, then you're also going to use a PDF in order to bring that content into Kindle. And once again, that could mean that you're going to create the entire thing in Microsoft Word, but you're going to save it as a PDF so that you can bring it into Kindle for the formatting. Now, assuming that you have the basic manuscript of your book already in place, what we're going to need to do next is we're going to need the Kindle software in order to work with the document to get it ready for Kindle. If you have a Windows computer, you can download from here. If you have a Mac computer, you can download from here. And that is where we will start in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in that next video. Welcome back. In this video, we are going to download and install the Kindle Create software. Now, for purposes of this video, we are using a Windows 10 computer, and we're going to install the Windows software for the first time to that PC. So we're going to start the process by clicking Download Now, and we're going to save the installer to our hard drive. Once we've downloaded the software, we're then going to click the executable file, and then we're going to agree to the license. We're then going to install it into the drive. And once it completes, we'll then click Finish, and then we'll click Run Kindle Create. Now, as of the recording of this video, there are some beta features that you can ask for. We are going to enable these beta features. And once we do that, our Kindle Create software will then be installed, and we are then ready to begin working with our new project. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now before we start working with Kindle Create, we're first going to create a title page. We're going to have a blank page before our content, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the formatting in Microsoft Word in order to indicate what the title is. So what we're going to do is we're going to write in the title of our book, and then what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the title. We're then going to click this box that says title, which indicates that Microsoft Word now has designated this content as the title. We're now going to go to another blank page, and that's also going to be before our content. And what we're going to do is we're going to place our cursor inside of this page, and then we're going to go to the references page. Now once we do that, we're then going to go through our entire document, and we're going to indicate the chapter titles, and we're going to use the designation in Microsoft Word. So for example, we're going to highlight this chapter, and then we're going to designate it as heading number 1. And we're going to do the same thing throughout all of our chapters. So we're now going to go through chapter 2. And we're going to highlight it, and we're going to use heading number 1. And so we're going to go through the rest of the chapters and do the very same thing. Once we've done this with every chapter, we're going to go to the very beginning of our document. And we're going to add in another blank page. Now if you're going to have a copyright page, you can insert it here. However, if not, what you're going to do is you're going to place your cursor here, and then you're going to go to the references section, and then you're going to insert a table of contents. And so you'll see the table of contents insertion point here. We're going to click this drop down arrow, and we're going to use the automatic table. Now for some reason you don't necessarily like the table, you are going to be able to change the style once you actually get inside of Kindle Create. So once we have this information, we can then save our document. We're now ready to import this document into Kindle Create. So we're going to click New Project from File. We're going to select the first section, and then we're going to click Choose File. We're going to select the document and then click Open. And then Kindle Create is going to begin to import and convert our document. Now at this stage, Kindle Create is now going to format our document according to our titles, according to our table of contents. And if you have highlighted your table of contents according to the formatting, then what will happen is Kindle Create will find those titles and it will automatically update your document. So we're now going to click Get Started. And once we've imported the document, we want to verify that we have all of our titles. We want to verify that all of those titles are now in our table of contents and that they are now clickable to the actual chapter, and we verify that they are. Now we are going to be able to edit the look of this table of contents, but what we want to do is make sure that it reflects our book. And once we confirm that it does, we can save our document. And then we can move on to the next step. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now that we are inside of Kindle Create, one of the things that we can do now is we can select a theme that we can use to make our formatting consistent. And so we can click this button that says Theme. And what we're going to do is we're going to select a theme. Now by default, Kindle Create uses the modern theme, and that's the one that we are using right now. And we can also select the classic theme. And when we do that, we can click this button that says Select. Now, as of the creation of this video, there are also 2 other themes that we can look to see if there is something that we like. We can choose the Cosmos theme. And also we can choose the Amour theme. Now once you've selected the theme that you feel reflects the look that you want for your Kindle book, You can then click Save. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now that you've chosen a theme, what you can do is you can use the tools in Kindle Create to format your title page and or front book matter. And in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to place our cursor inside of the title page first. And what you're going to notice is that you have a Properties tab here on your right side menu. So what we're going to look at first is going to be the title page content. And if we place our cursor inside, what you're going to notice is that the title will then change positions, and it'll also change the view of how the title page actually looks. Now, if we want to change the formatting, we can come over into the detail, go over to the formatting side, and what we'd have to do is we'd have to highlight this phrase, and then we can set the face of the font. And you'll notice we have some additional fonts within this theme. We can size up the font, or we can size down the font. We can use some of the other features. We can turn the font into uppercase. We can go back to all lowercase, or we can use the title case. So again, we can format the title page by using the formatting detail on the right side menu. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, what choosing the theme actually does for us is it gives us a consistent way of being able to apply titles as well as formatting throughout the book. And what we've done so far is we have worked with the title page. Now, what we can also do is we can work with the first page of every chapter. So for example, if we go to click on this thumbnail for chapter 1, and then we put our cursor inside of the text, what you're going to notice is that you have an element side and a formatting side. If we click the element side, what you're going to notice is that we are now inside of the title page, and we can then make sure that our title is going to be consistent with our title page, as well as all of the other chapters that we make changes to. If we make changes to the title page and we want to make changes to this title formatting, we can then take this common element and we can do it throughout all of the chapters once it's been set. If you have a subtitle, if you have an author name, if you have a part title, if you have a part subtitle, you can make sure that they're going to be consistent throughout all of the chapters. So what we're going to do now is just make sure that our first page of every chapter is going to be formatted in the way that we want it. And so for example, we're going to highlight this title, we're going to go to the formatting, and we're going to make a decision about how we want the titles of our chapters to be formatted. And if we decide that what we want is we want this to be a certain kind of font for all of our titles, we can do that. And so now what we're going to do, and now that this is set, we're going to leave this as it is, and we're going to make the same change throughout all of our chapters. So we've just changed chapter 1. Now what we can do is we can go and we can change chapter 2. We can highlight chapter 2. We can then make that the same title. We can now go to chapter 3. We can highlight it. We can then make it the same title as the others. And we're now going to do this effectively throughout our entire ebook. Once you have your title pages set the way you want them, you can then click Save. And you are then ready to move on to the next step of the formatting process. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now that you've chosen a theme, what you can do is you can use the tools in Kindle Create to format your title page and or front book matter. And in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to place our cursor inside of the title page first. And what you're going to notice is that you have a Properties tab here on your right side menu. So what we're going to look at first is going to be the title page content. And if we place our cursor inside, what you're going to notice is that the title will then change positions, and it'll also change the view of how the title page actually looks. Now, if we want to change the formatting, we can come over into the detail, go over to the formatting side, and what we'd have to do is we'd have to highlight this phrase, and then we can set the face of the font. And you'll notice we have some additional fonts within this theme. We can size up the font, or we can size down the font. We can use some of the other features. We can turn the font into uppercase. We can go back to all lowercase, or we can use the title case. So again, we can format the title page by using the formatting detail on the right side menu. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now that you have done the formatting, you now want to make sure that you edit anything that you want to finalize in your manuscript. Now please note, you should have already proofread as well as grammar read your document before you upload to Kindle Create. Kindle Create does not have a spell checker or grammar check. So once again, that should be done before you put your document into the software. Now what you're going to do is you're going to be using the formatting side, and you can scroll through your document as you would any word processing software. So what you'll be doing is you'll be making changes to make your document look consistent. You can place your cursor inside of the text. You can then make space where you need to make it, and you can make all of your paragraphs consistent in the way that you want to make them. And we're going to need to make those kinds of changes in each and every one of our chapters. And once we've done that, we're going to want to click Save inside of Kindle Create. Now there is one more factor to note. If you were to go to any of your text, as you would any word processing software, and you were to right-click that text, you would not see a place for you to be able to insert your hyperlink. That means then that your hyperlinks will need to be part of the document when you upload it or import it into the Kindle Create software. You will not be able to do that inside the software. You'll only be able to do that before the document is placed in. So once you've done the edits in all of your chapters, you've done the formatting and elements, you can then click Save. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, because Kindle Create functions much like word processing software, adding text is going to be fairly straightforward. You're going to place your cursor where you're going to be adding the text. And what you're going to do then is you're going to write the text as you would or as you like it to be seen. And of course, if you want to make changes to the paragraph, you can do that. And your text is then added to your document. Now, if you don't like the text that you added, all you need to do is to click the undo button, and you can get rid of the text that you put in. You can also paste in text from your clipboard. So if you have text from another document, you can copy that text from the document that you're working with. You can head back to Kindle Create. You can insert your cursor, and then you can go to the edit command. You can then click the paste link, or you can hit Control V. And you'll note that the formatting is now correct. What you may have to do is you may have to adjust the spacing so that it is consistent with the other spacing in your document. Now, when you're working with making changes to the text in the table of contents, it may be a little tricky because you're working with an actual hyperlink. What you can do is you can highlight the entire text that you're going to edit. You can hit the Control command. You can place your cursor where you want to make the change. You can then write in what you want to be there. Once you make the change, you can then click Save. Once again, what you'll need to do is you'll need to highlight the entire text. You'll then need to hit the Control command. You'll then place your cursor where you want to make the change. You will then put your text in that you want. And then once you've made the change, you can then click Save. Now, if you make changes to the table of contents, you are going to want to make sure that you are consistent with your chapter titles. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to work with your cover. And if you come into your Kindle book details and you come to the point where you have already named your title, what you're going to do is you're going to come to create your cover. Now, you're going to notice that there's one that's already here that's been created. We're going to go through this process again so that you can see how to use it on your end. So what we're going to do now is you're then going to click Launch Cover Creator. And what we're going to do is we're going to go backwards and we're going to click number 1. And you're going to notice that there are going to be several styles that you can use. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to choose one of the available styles. And we can either choose a non-image design or we can choose an image-based design. Now, if we choose an image-based design, we can upload images from our personal computer or from their image gallery. And for example, if we need to change the image, what we'll need to do is we can click to change the title, and we can click here to change the image in the background. And we can choose from the image gallery here or from our personal computer. If we want to change the title or the style, we can do that by clicking here. And all we'll need to do is we'll need to change the font as we see it. Once we have set the font the way we want, we can then click outside of here. Then our title will look the way we want it to look. If we want to add to this where we are the author, we can add in more. And once we have the cover looking the way we want, we can then click Save. And what we can also do is we can make changes to the colors. We can make changes to the layout. So for example, if we click Choose Layout, we can choose various layouts for this particular style. So for example, we can make the change here. We can make another change here. And however we want it to look for our particular audience, we can do that. So once we have the change the way we want, then what we'll need to do is then click Save. If we want to change the font again, we can do that. For example, if we want to change the font to something that looks like this, we can then click Save. And then once we've made all the changes we want to make to our cover, we can then click Preview. Kindle will then update the cover and build it. Now you'll note that the image is going to be different, mainly because we had a placeholder image in here, and Amazon Kindle required that we placed our own image here, so we used an image from the image gallery, and we placed that image inside of our Kindle cover. So now what we're going to do is we'll then click Save and Submit. We're going to be asked if we want to update the information. We're then going to click Yes. Now you'll note then our file is being processed, and then our new cover is now in place. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now when your content is final, in Kindle Create, you're then going to click the Publish button. You're going to be asked to save the final file. And then Kindle is going to package the project for publication. And then that will be the file that we're going to upload to our Kindle account. And as you can see here, one of the formats that we can use is the KPF format. That's the format that we just saved to. So now we're going to click this button and we're going to grab our file. The upload process will start, and then Kindle will save our manuscript. But once we've done that, we then have what's called the Kindle eBook Previewer. And so we can click this previewer, so that we can see how our book is going to appear on most Kindle e-readers. So at this point, we can now click Launch Previewer. And the preview will start. And you can then see how your book is actually going to look. Now, if you have an error that you can correct, Kindle will tell you what that error is. So for example, we can click View the Error. And we can choose to correct the error, or we can choose to ignore it. Now, for the sake of time, what we're going to do is we're going to ignore this error, even though we would typically go back and correct our document and re-upload it. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Ignore. When we do that, we're going to click Go Back to Content. Now, if you have an ISBN or you are using a publishing company or a publishing brand, you can write that in. Otherwise, you can either save this entire document as a draft, or you can click Save and Continue. So we have now saved the document as a draft. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. And when you have a more complex document, you can create a PDF file, and you can use that PDF file in order to upload to your Kindle Create software. Now, if you have the individual chapters written, you can take those individual chapters, you can combine them into a PDF document if you have something like Adobe Acrobat, or you can combine all of your documents into one document inside of your word processing software and then save that document as a PDF. Now, in this case, we already have hyperlinks in this document. We also have a chart in this document, and we may also even include an image. And once we've combined all of the content into the word processing software, we can then save it as a PDF document. Once you have your Kindle Create software open, you can then click New Project from File. In this case, you're going to take your more complex document and use the third category. You'll notice then that Kindle will ask that you choose the file as a PDF. So we're now going to grab the PDF. And we'll find it on our hard drive and then click Open. And then Kindle will import our document. You're now ready to begin working with your PDF document inside of Kindle Create. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, once you start working with your PDF file and you have links already in your document, you're going to get a message before you are going to save, and Kindle Create is going to ask you if you'd like for them to convert and preserve the links embedded in your book. And in most cases, you're going to say yes. When you do that, you're going to go ahead and let Kindle do the conversion process for you, as well as to save the new document. So here, we're going to click yes. And once you go through the link conversion process, you'll then click Save. You'll then want to save your new document. And once you've saved, your document is then ready to work with inside of Kindle Create. You can then publish the document once you've completed all of the additions and edits. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In this video, we are going to be adding in video to our document. And we can do that by coming to our cursor. And then what we're going to do is go to the Edit command. We're then going to go to the Insert command. And then we're going to click Movie from File. We'll then grab the video that we want to add to our document. We'll then click Open. And what you'll notice is that you have the icon and it'll be connected to your mouse movement. That means then that you can place that icon wherever you want to have it inside of your document. In this case, we're going to place it all the way at the end. Kindle will tell you that it's adding the plugin, and then what you'll do is you'll be able to title your content, write a short description, as well as alternative text. Once you have the content the way you want it, you'll then click Save. And again, you can repeat this as many times as you feel you need to inside of your content. So for example, if you wanted to put another video or an audio on the second page, you can do that. So for example, what we would do is we would click the edit command. We would then click the insert command, and then we would click audio from file. And once we selected our audio, we would then have an audio icon connected to our mouse. All we would need to do is to place that audio icon. Kindle will say is adding the plugin. And then once you've added the plugin, you'll then be able to write your description. And so what you'll do here is you'll decide on what kind of audio player that you're going to have. In this case, you can choose between a full player or a toggle player. You can choose the appearance and then write in your text. Once you've written in your text, you can then click Save. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to add in a video, but we're going to add it in a hyperlink. And the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to use the Select tool in Kindle Create. Once we do that, then we can select the text that we're going to add the video to. As you can see here, we've highlighted this text. And then we're going to go back to our edit command. We'll then go to the insert command. We'll then go to link from selection, and then we'll link to a specific video. We'll then choose that video, then click open. Kindle Create will add in the plugin. And then this link will then be clickable to a video. We'll then title this video, give it a short description, as well as alternative text. And once we have our link in with our video, we can then click Save. And once again, we can do this as many times as we want throughout our document. So for example, we can click another page. And once we get to that page, what we can do is we can then select the text that we want to work with. Now we're going to need to use the Select tool in order to do that. We'll then highlight the text that we want to link to. We'll then go to the Edit command, the Insert command, Link from Selection, and then we'll link to a specific audio. We will then select that audio. Then we will click Open. Kindle will then add in the plugin. We will then give our audio a title, short description, and alternative text. Once we have our text, we can then click Save. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now once you have everything as you want it, you will then be able to move forward by scrolling all the way to the bottom and clicking Save and Continue. This is the point at which you will determine your marketing and your distribution, as well as your price. And once you determine all those factors, provided that your account information is complete, now once again, we chose not to complete that information for the sake of this video, you will then be able to click this button that will say Publish Your Kindle eBook. However, it's important to note that one of the most important factors that there will be for other individuals to decide to choose your book will be your cover. And you can use the default cover in Amazon Kindle. However, it might be best for you to consider having an e-cover professionally designed. One of the best places to do that will be Fiverr.com. And if you put the search term in Kindle e-cover, you'll discover individuals that will put together a Kindle e-cover for you for a specific price. However, what you'll want to do is you'll want to consider having someone who has a good rating for you to have them design your cover. Now, if you have plans to make your cover into a paperback book using CreateSpace or using KDP, then you may want to consider having a cover design that you can use for both. And typically, the search terms will have something to do with CreateSpace and Kindle. For example, this individual will design something for Kindle as well as CreateSpace so that you can use them for both platforms. And this individual is also very highly rated. So you'll want to continue to look for the services so that you'll be able to determine who you'd like to work with. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course. Hello and welcome. Once you know how to create your Kindle book, there are other processes that you can use that will make promotion of your book very easy. Some of those resources exist on Amazon.com, and we will be talking about them in this course. In fact, you may be experiencing them with other authors, and in some cases you may not have known it. And so we will be exploring all of the ways that you can put Amazon.com as well as Kindle's resources available to you to get the word out about your Kindle book. In some cases, what you may be doing is you may be producing a different version of your book, which will make your ideas accessible to those that prefer a specific way that they like to take in content. So first, we'll investigate the tools that KDP has within it, and then we'll look at some tools that are external to KDP within the Amazon.com universe, as well as those tools that you'll need to put together regardless of what it is that you are promoting. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you in the first video. Welcome back. Now, one of the things you can do to promote your book is every 90 days you can run a promotion for 5 days of your book being free. And so you can do that in your dashboard with any book that you have as part of the KDP Select program. We will discuss specifics about the KDP program later in this course. What we're going to do is we're going to click this button that says Promote and Advertise. You're then going to look down on the left side and you're going to see that you can either run a Kindle countdown deal or you can run a free book promotion. So we're going to click this button that says Run a Free Book Promotion. And then we're going to click this button that says Create a Free Book Promotion. Once you do that, you'll select the start date and then you'll select the end date. Once you do that, you'll then click Save. Now, once you run your promotion, what will happen is that you will then be ineligible to run a Kindle countdown deal. Now, one of the things you'll notice right away is that we will no longer be able to run a Kindle countdown deal during this time because we're running the free book promotion. But if the free book promotion hasn't started, you can still stop that promotion and then run your Kindle countdown deal. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now again, if you are part of the KDP Select program, what you can also do is you can run a Kindle countdown deal. And one of the benefits of running a Kindle countdown deal is that they appear on a special page dedicated to these kinds of deals on Amazon.com. And as you can see with the Kindle countdown deal, if you look to the right side, you'll notice that there is a countdown clock and the buyer is told that their price will be going up within a certain period of time. Now, to run a Kindle countdown deal, your price does need to be at least $2.99 on Amazon.com. When you do this, just as you did the free promotion, you'll have a start date and you'll have an end date. And then what you'll need to do is you'll need to set a number of price increments with a starting price and an ending price. For example, you can have your price go up $1 every 24 hours, starting at $1.99, ending at a regular price of $4.99. So once you've set and confirmed your promotion, you can then click Save. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one way to promote your book is to use a pre-order system that will allow people to come to a page and look at your cover and look at what your book is going to be about before you actually release the book. You would need to set this up between the time you finalize and publish and the time you make the book available for download. Now, your pre-orders can be listed in Amazon marketplaces with the exception of Amazon.in. But once you list the book for pre-order, there will be a timer on the page until the book is actually released. For example, you can see this is a book that is available on Kindle, and when the individual clicks, they'll be pre-ordering with one click, and they'll be paying in order to get the actual book. Your manuscript will need to be pre-approved in order to start the pre-order promotion, but it can still be revised before the download date. And this is obviously going to be for new Kindle books. None of those Kindle books can be in the public domain. And you can list up to 10 titles for pre-order. However, those pre-orders cannot be paperback books. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you are logged into your Amazon account, what you can do is scroll all the way to the bottom of your Amazon Books page, and you're going to see the last panel say Set Up an Amazon Giveaway. What you can do then is you can then click that button. You're then going to determine how many copies you're going to give away. So once you write this in, you will then get a cost associated with the actual price that it's going to cost you. You're going to write in a name, and then you're going to add in a customer image. Whether this is a JPEG, PNG, or GIF, you can add in either a personal or branded image. You can decide on the kind of giveaway. So for example, you can make this a first come, first served, or you can make this a sweepstakes or lucky number instant win. In order to get the giveaway, you can require the visitor to do something. You can have them follow you as an author on Amazon. You can have them watch a video short, or you can have them watch a YouTube video at your designation. Now, if you're an Amazon Pro seller, you can offer an additional discount for the individuals that don't win. And finally, you can choose to make the sale public or private. So for example, if you only want this giveaway to be discoverable for the people that already know about it, you can make it private. Or if you want it to be discoverable for the general public, you can make it public. Now, this then assumes that you have some kind of database or email marketing list. So once you've considered all of the variables that you want to have in your giveaway, you can then click Next. Kindle will then show you what your giveaway is going to look like. Once you approve, you can then click Proceed to checkout. And that will set your giveaway in motion. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, you can send an advanced copy to a reviewer of your manuscript. Now, what you want to keep in mind about this review is that when the person reviews it, it will not show as a verified purchase. It will be an unverified purchase, which may or may not influence someone when they're looking to consider that review as to whether or not they should purchase the book or not. So although you can't send an advanced copy, another way to do this is to go to your book just as you would any other book, and then you're going to click this link that says Buy for Others. What you're going to do then, of course, is you're going to put the recipient's email in, you're going to put your name in there, and then you're going to write in here that this is the book that you talked about having them review. Now, this will count as a sale towards your sales statistics, and of course, you will be paying for the book. So you have both of these ways of being able to offer individuals to review your book, but only one of which will show up as a verified purchase. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the other tools that you have available to you with any Kindle book, including yours, will be that you can share an embed code. And what you'll do is you'll scroll down, you'll look on the right-hand side, and if you look someplace under the Add to List button as of the recording of this video, you're going to see share buttons, and then you're going to see this link that says embed. You're going to click that link. You're then going to get a pop-up. And what's going to happen is you can then send this link to another individual by email, or you can click this button and you can get the embed code so that it will be part of your personal website. Once a person has the embed code, they can head to their website, and if they're willing to put in the code, they will then hit publish. And then if we click view post, you'll see the preview of the book that will be on your website. Then of course, that person can hit preview, they can hit share, or they can buy from this actual link. When the person gets the link by email, what they'll need to do is they'll need to click this link, and they'll then get a preview in their browser. They can either read it in Kindle, share it, or buy it from this link. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, there are other ways to find readers other than those that will traditionally go to the Amazon.com website and purchase an ebook. There are those who subscribe to Amazon Kindle and get a certain number of ebooks that they have available to them on a monthly basis. And you'll see those books designated on the Amazon.com website with this Kindle Unlimited logo on the top of their covers. There are also individuals that borrow from the Kindle Owners Lending Library, and your book can be part of this program also. Now, to do so, your book or books will need to be part of the KDP Select program. Now, the KDP Select program is another way that you can use to reach more readers depending on who they are, as we've seen. Also, as we've seen in an earlier video, that you get access to the free book promotion and Kindle Countdown promotions exclusively as part of KDP. It also allows you to be part of the Kindle Unlimited program and lending library, and you are paid in these programs based on the number of readers and pages they read rather than buyers exclusively. And of course, there's no cost to enroll in the KDP Select program. Now, you're basically agreeing to exclusivity. That means that you agree not to list your ebooks in other marketplaces. And what Amazon says is that you may provide professional reviewers a copy of your book via email for the purpose of editing, proofreading, and helping with other quality improvements. Now, there's some important statements that Amazon makes specifically, and they're important enough to look at specific quotations. Amazon says all content enrolled in the KDP Select program must remain for sale through the Kindle store only. If the digital version of your book appears to be available for pre-order, for sale, or for free elsewhere, it's not eligible for KDP Select. And finally, it's not enough just to add new content or bonus content to a book if it's going to be available elsewhere. This rule is what you see is what you get. If your book is available elsewhere, it's not going to be part of KDP. So you will need to make a decision as to whether or not your income will be greater using the KDP Select program or whether it will be worth your time not to list it and to market elsewhere. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, to enroll your book in the KDP Select program, what you'll need to do is you'll need to come to the right side menu of your book. You'll need to click this link that says Enroll in KDP Select. You'll then need to agree to the exclusivity, and then you'll need to click Enroll. And then, once you've done that, your book will be enrolled in KDP Select. Now, once your book is published, you will have available to you two panels, your price promotion panel and your ad campaign panel. And you'll have this button where you can manage your KDP Select program. And this is where you can automatically renew your book in the program on an ongoing basis. And of course, if you don't want to be part of the program, all you'll need to do is you'll need to untick this. When the program ends, once you've saved, you will then need to manually review if you want to remain part of the program. And you'll have these options available to you for all of the books you have published inside of your Kindle bookshelf. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you are an Amazon associate or you're part of the Amazon affiliate program, you are not allowed to put these links inside of your Kindle book directly. So if you want to direct people to affiliate products that you're promoting, you'll need to put them on a website and then have those website links inside of your Kindle book. However, just make sure that your Kindle book is not a way of just generating affiliate income. Now, one of the things that you may have noticed when you are sending a Kindle book preview is that you are encouraged to use your Amazon Associates ID to earn advertising revenue. Now, this is available to authors also, so that if you send individuals to your page with your Amazon Associates ID, you can earn as an associate as well as if the individual buys the book as an author also. What this also means is that you'll be able to use the tracking mechanisms inside of Amazon Associates to get intelligence on how many people are coming to your page inside of Amazon if you're using Amazon affiliate links. So as you consider how to promote your book on your site, consider using your Amazon affiliate link. Not only will you get the additional revenue as an associate, you'll also get tracking features in addition to them. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now, one of the other ways that you can make your book available is to use an Amazon storefront. An Amazon storefront is a way of promoting all of the products that you might see on Amazon, both as an affiliate as well as those that you create yourself. And basically, you're designing the store to fit your brand. And this is a case where you might have both your Kindle books as well as physical products. Basically, what you're doing is you're getting your own brand URL on Amazon, and you are creating a multi-page shopping experience of all of the products that you are going to be working with. So you can see this with larger brands like Listerine, fashion-oriented brands, and personal brands. Now, to have a store, you do need to be an Amazon seller or a vendor agent, and your brand must be registered in what they call the Amazon Brand Registry, which is basically designed to protect you and any product that you sell that you create. And basically, for the brand registry, you do need to have a text-based trademark as well as an image-based trademark. Now, to get started, you would go to your Seller Central account. And naturally, the reason that you do this is that you have other items that are already available on Amazon.com, and you want to promote other items that are related. You can achieve the same thing on your personal website if you want to use your affiliate links. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, if you already have a social media following on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, you can enter the Amazon Influencer Program, and this is another way for you to be able to create a storefront and then promote your Kindle book. And you can test your eligibility fairly quickly by connecting either your YouTube account, your Twitter following, your Facebook account, and/or your Instagram account. Now, you can simultaneously be an influencer as well as an Amazon associate or affiliate. So you'll get additional tools as part of the influencer program in your Amazon associates account. Now, once you start the application process, you'll be asked for a public name. You'll be asked to write some information about your account. You'll then need to add in your social links. And once you've done that, you'll then click Continue. You'll then upload your storefront logo as well as a background image. You'll then write in a page title, a tagline, and then Amazon will ask you about how you found out about the influencer program. If you're already an existing Amazon associate, you can either create a new store or put your existing store ID in this area. You'll be asked about which products you are going to primarily use. You'll specify that your content is not primarily directed toward children under 13. You'll agree to the terms, and then you'll click Save and Finish. And then if your page has been approved, you'll then be able to create your storefront with the URL that has been given you, and you can start promoting your Kindle books and everything else on your social media account. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the things that you can do in order to promote your ebook is to put it into another format. And Kindle makes it very easy to do that. All you'll need to do is to come into your book detail area, and you're going to notice that there is a link here that says Create Paperback. And you're going to click this link. And all of the other information should be the exact same as it is in your Kindle book. Once you've verified all the information, you'll then click Save and Continue. Amazon will then assign you a free KDP ISBN number, which you will use on your paperback. You can also determine a publication date for the release, and then you'll determine how you want your book to be printed. And typically, they're going to give you the options in the default settings that are going to be most common. Now, in order to go forward, you are going to need to upload your paperback manuscript, as well as the fact that you're going to need to create another cover or use a version of a cover that you already have. Once you do those things, you're then going to click Save and Continue. Now, one thing you'll want to note here is that because you're going to have to re-upload your manuscript, you're going to want to download a template so that you'll be able to get your content into the template and upload it as a manuscript. Now, to upload the manuscript, you're going to have 4 file types available to you: doc file, docx, an HTML file, and then a rich text file, which is basically another form of the doc file. Now, in terms of the cover creator, one thing that you're going to want to take note of is that you're going to be doing a cover that's going to have a front and back to it. So for example, let's go ahead and click the cover creator. So you'll see that as you design your cover, you're going to be designing a front and back end of the cover. So if you should choose to have one designed, you will want to make sure that it's going to be unlike the Kindle cover, in that it's going to need to have enough content on it so that you'll be able to do a front and back cover. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you in another video. Welcome back. You are now looking at acx.com. acx.com is a way for you to be able to turn your content into an audiobook, and it's another way for you to be able to promote your content. Now, if you already have an account, you can log into your account using your Amazon ID. Once you've logged in, Amazon will search for results based on your name. It'll come up with the books that it thinks are yours, and what you can do then is you can click the link that says, "This is my book." Now, there are 2 things that you can consider. One is you can have someone narrate and produce your audiobook, or you can produce the audio yourself and you can upload it to ACX. Now, because reading audio is a time-consuming process, we are going to look at the narration process. So when you agree to the contract, what you're agreeing to is all in plain language on the right-hand side. Basically, you're giving ACX the right to look for producers and narrators on your behalf. At the same time, you're asserting that you have the rights to work with the content in this book. And once you've read and agree, you're going to click the "You've read" statement, and then you're going to click Agree and Continue. Now, required, you're going to need to write in your name, the copyright years, and then the audio copyright owner. You'll then need to categorize your book as fiction or nonfiction. You'll determine the best category, and then you'll determine what your ideal narrator's voice should be. Any additional comments you'll write in this area. And then what you'll need to do is you'll need to upload an audition script so that the people who are going to be auditioning will read something and you can make an assessment as to whether or not that's the person that you want to work with. Now, it could be that you already have a narrated file in your personal computer. If that's the case, you'll then click Continue. You'll then determine what kind of rights you own, what kind of distribution you want, and then what language your audiobook is written in. You'll then click Continue. Once you've read the audiobook agreement, you can then click Agree and Continue. And you'll write in all the same information that would be required if you are going to have someone narrate, and then you'll click Continue, where you're going to upload your file for the quality check. Once you get to this page, what you'll be doing is you'll be adding in your audio per chapter. So you want to record 1 chapter at a time and upload 1 chapter at a time. And when you're ready to add in another chapter or section, and once you've completed 1 file, you can then move on to the next chapter. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the other ways for you to promote your book is going to be to have some kind of author blog where you can keep track of what your readers are saying about your book, as well as any fans or followers. The most well-known way to do that is to build a WordPress website. And you can start by going to a site like GoDaddy, getting a domain name and hosting, and then using a WordPress solution right out of the box. And ultimately, you can start a WordPress site at a very simple level just to keep track with your readers. Another way to do this without as much blogging and without as much to do is going to be to use a site at blogger.com. And if you log into your Google account all you'll need to do is to go to the drop down arrow and create a new blog. Now, Blogger is free of charge. You can also use a site like Wix. Now, in addition to having your author blog, you're also going to want to have some kind of email marketing list so that you'll be able to communicate with your subscribers as well as your readers. If cost is a concern as you're starting out, MailChimp is free for the first 2,000 subscribers. There are also popular and low-cost alternatives such as GetResponse and Aweber. Now, one of the things you'll notice when you create a blog at a site like Blogger is that you will have blogspot.com at the end of your domain name. Now, what this means is that you will be able to keep your focus on what you're doing in terms of your writing and not so much on designing your site. What you're doing here is you're communicating with your readers. Now, if you are a little more technical and you feel comfortable using something like WordPress and you want to work with the theme and keep your website updated, you can use a solution like that. Otherwise, you'll want to consider using a solution that's going to be easiest for you to use and to keep up with your writing. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one major aspect of your promotion will be your Amazon Author Central account. And we've completed the first part of that promotion by creating a blog that we'll be connecting to Amazon Central. Now, another part of that will be connecting your social media accounts. And so you'll want to consider these two setups in particular. Now, obviously, you want to set up those accounts that you expect to use. Now, if you don't expect to use a social media account in order to promote your books, then you probably should not set one up. And you want to use this to communicate regularly with your readers on a regular basis. You want to consider where your typical reader is online most and then start with that one or two social networks. Now, this activity on the social network shouldn't be so time consuming that it takes the place of your writing, but you should be in touch with potential readers if possible before your possible release dates because, again, you're going to be able to utilize Amazon Author Central. Now, you want to try to keep your profiles consistent with the activity and content you already have on Amazon, especially if you're going to be using a storefront, especially if you're going to be using one of the influencer accounts. Now, as far as which accounts you should set up, again, depending on where your followers are, you're going to be setting up Facebook. You'll probably want to set up a page for each separate book release. So if you have one title, you want to set up a page for that title. In general, and if possible, you want to have a group. And this will be for ongoing relationships with all of your followers and all of your readers. And lastly, you want to have your personal profile for friends, associates, and business connections. You also want to set up a Twitter account if you're going to use it. Twitter is going to be for quick communication, perhaps your book releases, for quick tips to your readers, and for providing a point of view to your readers. Now, obviously, you can be involved in more social networks if you're good at engagements on those networks, but we want to keep our focus on those networks that we're going to connect with Amazon Author Central. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one aspect of our Amazon Author Central account will be that we can post events. And if you don't have tour events that you're going to be doing, you are going to want to create online events that you can post to Amazon Author Central. Now, in order to create an online event, you can use any webinar or online meeting system, and there are plenty of them available, such as zoom.us. Now, you're going to need to make your link for your event short and memorable so that it can be seen inside of Author Central. So one thing that you can do from a WordPress website or from any link shortening program is that you can put a short link together. We're going to use this plugin called Affiliate Link Cloaking by ClionPid, and we're going to use it in order to shorten our webinar or our online event link. And once the plugin is installed, we can use a link shortener that is relevant to the event that we want people to come to and remember. So we can make a memorable link with the plugin, and we can place our webinar link here for a redirect. And when we save this link, it'll be much more memorable for our viewers from our Amazon Author Central page. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one more account that you will want to set up will be your video account. Now, you won't find a direct connection between your YouTube account and your Amazon Author Central account, but you will want to have one place where you're going to have all of your promotional activities, including book trailers and other promotional content for your ebooks. But one thing you will want to note is that if you are going to be accepted into the influencer program that we spoke about earlier in this course, the easiest way to be accepted will be based on the activity of your YouTube account. So if you are building subscribers and regular activity on that account, you'll easily be able to create your influencer account as well as a storefront without having to use the advertising platform. Now, there is a video section of your Author Central account. When you click inside of there, you're going to notice that you're going to be uploading your videos to this area. And since the content is likely to be first on your YouTube channel, all you'll need to do is to come inside of your video area. You'll need to come to the video that you want to place on your channel. You'll then click this down arrow, and then you'll click Download MP4. Once you have the MP4 on your hard drive, you'll then be able to upload it to your Amazon Author Central account. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now that you have all the elements that you're going to need, you can now sign up for your Amazon Author Central account. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to click the Join Now button if you are not a part of Amazon Author Central. You'll be asked to accept the terms and conditions. You'll click Accept. You'll then be asked if you have any of the books that are available. If you currently don't have books available, you'll then click I am someone else. You'll be asked to confirm your identity. You'll then click Continue. And once you find your book and you confirm your identity, you'll then have access to your author page. And you'll be able to click this link to add in your bio. And you'll be given a minimum, in this case, of 100 characters or 20 words. Now, in the second section, you'll be adding in your blog. Now, in this case, Amazon Author Central will be asking for your RSS feed, so that what Author Central will be doing is it will be picking up your blog posts as you do them. In the third section, you'll be adding in your events. So for example, we're going to edit this event that's available right now. Now you can put the location where you're going to be doing the recording, and you can specify the individuals that they can attend online. And this is where you'll note that your short URL will come in handy. You'll pick the book that you'll be working with, and then you'll set the date, and you'll then click Save Event. Now in the third section, if you haven't done so already, you'll be able to pick your author page URL. Now depending on when you set up your author page, you will be able to set up your Twitter feed in this area. You'll be able to add in photos from this area, and you'll need to upload them from your hard drive. And as we discussed before, you'll also be able to add videos to your page. And this information will be available to your readers when they go to your author page. And you'll be able to see the typical author page will have blog posts, sometimes videos, and even sometimes social media updates. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, you've now seen a full range of tools that you can use in order to promote your Amazon book, integrating them into your already existing content. So by utilizing your author page, as well as your existing content such as video and blog posts, you can share your content easily into your social media. You can use your Amazon stores to showcase your content, or you can have the same features available to you at no monthly cost by using the Amazon Influencer Program. Of course, you can use the Amazon Associates Program to earn additional revenue on top of those that purchase your content. And within the Kindle system, you can use the KDP Select program in order to maximize the tools that Kindle has given you to promote your book. Finally, you can also turn your ebook into an audiobook on ACX, and a paperback using KDP. So with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.